Hey, what's up, guys? This is Sachi. Welcome to my channel. Today, we're going to take a look at virtual hard drives and virtual hard disks. How can we create virtual hard disks in Windows 10? And how can we utilize that to create a new virtual hard drives um, so that it can give us the flexibility of using additional drives. So we'll take a look at that. Let's jump right into it and see how it works. Okay. I have one hard drive and one partition C drive. So if I want to add a new drive, but I don't want to add a new hard disk, but I want to create a new drive, that I'll show you how to do that. So if you go to manage and go to disk management and then go to select right click here, create VHD. So what essentially you are doing, you are creating a hard disk, like a virtual hard disk, which will be internally a file, which will be stored as a file. And the operating system will think of it as a new hard disk. So I will name it like this, and I will store it inside C drive. Let's store it here. So as soon as you store it, I'll change the name. I'll give a name to it, and then it's D drive. And there are two formats, VHD and VHDX. As you can see, it has a description. VHD supports virtual disk up to is 2 terabyte in size. VHDX is up to 64 terabyte. So it depends on your requirement. There are two kinds. One is a fixed, one is dynamically expanding. Fixed means as soon as you create the hard disk, the file will block that much of space from your hard disk, which means if you don't have space, you cannot create it. But I will choose dynamically expanding because it will create the hard disk, which will give the illusion to the operating system that it's a X terabyte hard disk, but it will actually take very little space, and the space will keep the system will allocate the space based on the usage. As we keep using it, it will the operating system will give it more and more space up to the space that you define. For example, here I am creating a hard disk of, for example, 40 GB, right? 40 GB. If you see, my hard disk on C drive is only 35 GB free, but I can create a hard disk up to 80 GB because it's dynamically expanding, and I will see what happens. So I have created a new hard disk which is of 80 gigabit, and if you go inside C drive, this is the file it created, which is only 168 kilobyte. But this gives the operating system the illusion that it's a hard disk of 80 gigabyte. So first thing, any hard disk when you add physical hard drive also you will initialize. So right, similarly you have to initialize the disk. Just go for GPT. Is for the newer operating systems. So select that one, and then this one is a new hard drive, so you can create multiple partitions or one partition. Okay, so it has 79 GB, right? So right click, and I am going to create a new volume, and I will create the first one, 81902. So that means it will be 40. I will give 40 1 2 3 40 GB, right? So I hit next. It's a D drive, and I'll format, I'll finish. So what happened here is that everything is written into this file, the D drive file, right? This is the D drive file. This is the D drive file, right? So right now the file size is only 119 MB, which gives the instructions that I have created D drive of 40 GB, and this one is another. So what we essentially did is this is a new hard disk and it had 80 gig of data. We used 39 gig to create a new partition. The remaining we can create another partition like that. So we can do next, 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 next. So it will be E drive. Now you can see the system will have three drives, C, D, E. The D and E will be in this file. I mean, this is a hard disk file, and C drive will be in the original hard drive. So you can see this is C drive, D drive, and E drive. See, so that's how it is. So right now the system has created three files, three drives: C drive, D drive, E drive, and these are like all usual drives, regular drives. So you can use them, to test your development scripts. You can install applications. You can do whatever you the drives allow. So it's like a new drive. So as you know, drives provide little more capability compared to files where you have all these scanning features, all these things, right? So you can do whatever you can do with the drive. You can do everything here. But remember, these two drives belongs to this file. And the good thing is that, for example, in this structure, this two drive and the folders that you put in the drive, you can actually transfer to another computer. For example, you after working on your stuff, you take this file and put it in another computer, and there it will add those two additional drives for you. So that way it's also convenient that you can transfer it as a file. So that's another benefit that you get when you use these virtual hard drives. So it's like a file, and you can copy it and then move it to another computer and then attach it in other computer. I will show you how to do that. In Okay, so for example, in a new computer, when you have this file, so what you can do, right click, attach VHD. When you hit attach VHD, you browse to the same VHD file. When you do that one, and you will see all the volumes or the drives, it shows up, and you can tick mark here for it to be read only, so that you cannot write it. So the benefit is that it has a read only option, as if the disk is completely read only. You cannot change any data. So that's the option that you have here. Attach VHD, this is the option you have. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it. Let me know what you think about this virtual hard drive concept. I think it's very helpful because it provides you the flexibility to create a drive without necessarily having a new hard disk or changing your existing partitions, because changing your existing partitions is sometimes becomes very difficult because you already have operating systems installed and you don't want to impact the amount of space. Also, sometimes it is not possible to compact, and you don't want to even necessarily change the partition structure. At the same time, it might not be possible for you to buy a new hard disk and just install it. So in this situation, I think the virtual hard disks will be really beneficial. So why do we need that? What problem does it solve? So think of the situation where your computer comes with a pre-installed operating system and provides you only X number of drives. For example, like one drive, like C drive only, right? So while doing some testing or installing some softwares or trying to organize some stuff, you need another drive like D drive or E drive, because that makes life little bit easier and easy to organize stuff, right? So there could be multiple situations. Sometimes as developers, when we test some scripts, or sometimes when we test some developed applications where application depends on certain drive which is embedded inside the application code to use the drive as a dependency. For example, if you want to test an application which requires you to have a drive called D drive or an E drive, which your computer currently doesn't have. So that's one situation. And the other situation is, what if you want to separate your photos or separate your games to be installed in another drive? You don't want to put all of them in the C drive. So to organize in a more what you can say, to organize the stuff in a more appropriate way, we need sometimes additional drives. So to get additional drives, what are the options we have? The first option we have is to change the partition structure of your current hard disk. But that's not possible in some situations where you don't want to, you know, change the operating system partition structure, because if you want to compress the volume, sometimes you it's allowed, but you might not get enough space after compressing the existing volumes, and sometimes it doesn't even allow you to compress the volumes because of data integrity and all. So changing the partition structure is sometimes allowed, but at the same time, sometimes it doesn't give you the necessary space that you're looking for, and you don't want to accidentally change something in your operating system volume and create problems for it, because you don't want to necessarily squeeze too much space from your volume, right? um, so that's one way to change the partition structure, and sometimes it's a little bit tricky and sometimes it's not even possible and you might not get enough space out of it. The next step, next option is to buy and install a new hard disk and then completely format it to get a new drive. So these are the two options. The second option is sometimes it's not possible, because if you have a laptop and it doesn't have additional ports or additional ports to install new hard disk, then you are out of luck. So you cannot do that. So if we cannot go for partitioning the existing volume or add a new hard disk, or this is the way you can actually create a virtual hard disk and in turn create a virtual drive. And that's it for the video. We will discuss about more troubleshooting and technical stuff in other videos. um, don't forget to share your valuable comments. That will definitely help me to enhance the quality of my videos. Stay tuned and have a great day. Thank you.